Let's talk about a continent in flux, Africa, where tradition collides with a new, restless energy. In the midst of this, a young man emerges, not a king, not a billionaire, but a captain. Ibrahim Traoré, barely in his 30s, steps up to lead Burkina Faso. He's not your typical leader, he's a soldier who decided the old rule book was broken. In a region where leaders are usually decades older, Traoré's youth is a shock to the system. He wears his uniform as a badge of action, not ceremony, and speaks with a directness that slices through political noise. He didn't just call for change, he became it. For years, young Africans were told to wait their turn. Traoré said, "Why wait?" His rise was a lightning bolt. The youth are not just the future, they're the present. Suddenly, millions saw someone in power who looked and sounded like them. The world watched, skeptical but intrigued. Could this young captain really lead? For young Africans, the answer was clear finally. Someone who understood their struggles and dreams. Traoré wasn't just a distant leader, he was proof that new leadership was possible. And it was happening now. He became a symbol of potential, a generational shift in real time. The rules had changed, and so had the face of power. Where does a leader like Traoré come from? Not a palace. Bondokui, a small, rural town. He grew up grounded in the realities of everyday Burkinabe life, shaped by struggle and resilience. Known as a quiet, brilliant student, he moved from Bondokui to Bobo Dioulasso for high school, then to the University of Ouagadougou to study geology. He wasn't groomed for power, he earned every step. Studying the earth itself, he learned to value foundations, practical, tangible, real. His journey from rural roots to the nation's top university is a story many young Burkinabe recognize. It's about using education as a ladder, moving from the margins to the center through merit. Traoré's background makes him relatable. A leader who understands the people because he is one of them. He's not an abstract figure in a suit, he's the boy from Bondokui who made it. His story proves your starting point doesn't define your destination. For a continent full of young talent, that's a message of hope. After university, Traoré didn't chase comfort. He joined the army in 2010 as Burkina Faso faced rising extremist threats. He chose service over safety, quickly rising through the ranks on merit, not connections. As part of the elite Cobras unit, he fought on the front lines, sharing risks with his men. He saw the failures of strategy, the lack of resources, and the toll on ordinary families. This was his real education leadership under fire, loyalty, and the cost of indecision. Traoré's bond with his soldiers was forged in battle. They trusted him because he was one of them. His reputation grew a brilliant tactician, a courageous leader, and a voice for a new generation of officers tired of the old guard. He wasn't just fighting terrorists, he was confronting a political system that had lost its way. The frustration of the front lines became a call for change. Traoré's quiet confidence and crisis leadership set him apart. He didn't seek power for its own sake. Necessity pushed him forward. The soldier was about to become a statesman. His journey was about service, not ambition, and that made all the difference. In 2022, Burkina Faso's military, frustrated by government failures, overthrew the president. Traoré and other young officers hoped for real change, but things only got worse. Attacks increased, territory was lost, and frustration boiled over. At just 34, Traoré led a second coup, removing the new leader. A captain, still a junior rank, was suddenly in charge of the nation. His legitimacy came from the loyalty of troops on the ground, not political connections. Traoré's message was simple. The old leadership failed to protect the country. Now those who fight will lead. He spoke as a reluctant leader, focused on reclaiming lost territory and restoring peace. The people, exhausted by instability, listened. This was more than a power grab, it was a generational revolt. Traoré became the face of a new kind of leadership, direct, urgent, and unafraid to break the rules. The captain was now in command. Why did so many young Africans cheer Traoré's rise? Because he was one of them. At 34, he shattered the mold of aging leaders. He looked like their brother, not their grandfather. His youth was a revolution in itself, but it was his actions that inspired. He rejected luxury, stayed close to the people, and spoke their language. Direct, relatable, real. Traoré talked about sovereignty, about Africa controlling its own resources and destiny. He challenged foreign influence, questioned old alliances, and called for pan-African unity. For a generation raised online and aware of global power dynamics, his message of self-determination was electric. He inspired youth, and they empowered him in return. His popular support became his greatest asset. When he called, they answered. Traoré made politics feel urgent and relevant to a generation that had grown cynical. He wasn't just a president, he was the leader of a movement. He tapped into dormant energy and turned it into action. For young Africans, he was proof that change was possible, and that changed everything. Traoré's lifestyle is as striking as his politics. He wears simple fatigues, lives in a modest villa, and gave up his captain's salary to stand with volunteers. These choices aren't just symbolic. They're a statement, I am one of you. In a country where most have little, his simplicity builds trust and authenticity. He speaks plainly, avoiding jargon and empty promises. He addresses the nation like a commander. Here's the problem. Here's the mission. Here's what we need to do. People feel respected, treated as partners in a national project. His directness and Spartan lifestyle set him apart from the big man leaders of the past. Traoré's focus is total. He once said he has no time for hobbies, his country is at war. This dedication inspires admiration and loyalty. In a noisy political world, his quiet intensity stands out. He's not just a leader, he's a role model for a new kind of public service. To understand Traoré's impact, listen to his speeches. Calm but fiery, he ends with La patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons. Homeland or death, we will win. It's not just a slogan, it's a call to total commitment, echoing revolutionary icon Thomas Sankara. Traoré visits troops, eats with them, and is mobbed by cheering crowds, images that build his legend. At the Russia-Africa summit, he called out neocolonialism and demanded respect for Africa. That speech went viral, resonating with young people across the continent. He says what many have long thought, but never heard from a leader. Traoré isn't just governing, he's performing a role, embodying African pride and defiance. His words become rallying cries, not just for Burkina Faso, but for all of Africa. He taps into a shared desire to break free from the past. His speeches are more than words, they're a movement. Traoré's influence stretches far beyond Burkina Faso. He's a pan-African symbol, his image on t-shirts, taxis, and social media across West Africa. Young people see him as proof that bold, youthful leadership is possible. His appeal is rooted in shared frustration, unemployment, corruption, and unresponsive governments. Traoré's alliance with Mali and Niger in the Alliance of Sahel States is seen as Africans solving African problems. It's a practical step toward pan-African ideals and regional self-reliance. Critics point to his undemocratic rise and the challenges he faces. But for many, purpose outweighs process. He's seen as a liberator, not a dictator, a revolutionary force to act. For his supporters, hope trumps hesitation. Traoré is proof that the future can look different from the past. He's become a symbol that change is possible across borders. Traoré's story is bigger than one man or one country. It's a chapter in Africa's quest for its own identity. He's a living symbol of a generational demand for change, breaking with post-colonial leadership. His blend of discipline, rhetoric, and simplicity challenges what African leadership can be. He's shown it's possible to connect directly with people and command respect globally without compromising sovereignty. Whether his model lasts is uncertain, but its impact is undeniable. Traoré's rise is a wake-up call for Africa and the world. The old ways no longer work. Africa's youth are connected, informed, and impatient for visionary, accountable leaders. Traoré embodies these demands, reflecting a powerful current sweeping the continent. His legacy will depend on what he achieves for Burkina Faso, but his symbolic importance is already secure. He's shattered the old mold, giving millions hope for a new future. The captain has changed the course, and Africa will never be the same.